Okay, so we're going to talk about monitors next. We've mainly been dealing with getting sound from the stage to the board. Now we want to get sound from the board to the stage. This is extremely useful in almost every type of play we do where actors need to hear sound cues, or hear each other, or hear music, or hear the orchestra. It's also useful for getting music on stage.
Hello.
Why don't we do that? Or?
Just pick up where you were.
Okay. It's also useful for getting music on stage, getting cues on stage, and we have 3 types of monitors for that. I'm going to start with the newest one first. We have this baby. We have around 6 of these. They're hotspot monitors. They have that little silver adapter. Usually lives in the back of them. They're a little bit of a pain to get out. But this screws onto a mic stand and lets you set this on a mic stand. This is used for an individual instrument player, such as in the pit with like the keyboardist just hearing this, or on stage for just a drummer hearing this. These aren't used for wide coverage. And they do have their own volume adjustment knob. Take a look at the back. They do take speak-on in. They can also take 1/4 inch. But more than likely, you're going to be using speak-on on these. I'll talk about some cases later when you might use 1/4 inch, but it's very rare. Next, we have probably the most common monitor, this side fill electro voice monitor. You may notice this is a fairly large and fairly heavy monitor. It sits just behind the grand drape and points inward to the stage. And because they're flat, you can also stack 2 on top of each other if you need that much more power. On the back, we have speak-on in, just the same. I refer to these as side fills because that's what they do. They sit at the side of the stage and they fill the sound with stage. They fill the stage with sound. I'm sorry about that. But this is my main monitor for doing just about everything. Just getting music on stage, getting actors on stage. This is the guy we use because it's loud, it's powerful, and it's clear. You may notice this one's glow taped up. I'm a super safety guy, and this is black, and backstage is dark. So when actors come off, they oftentimes hit this thing. I've had people fall over these before. So I've started putting glow tape at each corner on both sides and on the face where it's pointed inward. This one's falling off. That way the actor can see where it is. Next we have the wedge. The wedge is probably what most people are familiar with. When you see a rock concert, this is the one on the edge of the stage that the guitarist is putting his foot on. These are great because you can stripe them across the front of the stage like floor mics and then tilt them back and they'll fill the stage with sound. These aren't quite as powerful and they're not quite as clear, so they don't get used that much for me. And another issue is they create a sight line. If you have, let's say, dance, we do a lot of dance recitals here, where people are doing tap and you want to see their feet, you can't see it with this big monitor in the way. That's why I prefer the side fills. But at the end of the day, all 3 monitors do the same job of getting sound on the stage.